sharing out to groups really quick. Give me one moment. I hope you guys are having a good morning so far. I did not beat the construction workers this morning. I am on early. I was hoping to beat them today, but they were on it first thing this morning at 9 a.m. And I guess we had a good rain this morning because everything was wet. I got up at 7 a.m. and it was still raining a little bit, but not too bad. And so I guess before that, prior to waking up, we had some serious rain. Somebody I was speaking to in Messenger this morning said that it was actually formidable rain, so I don't know what that means. I guess we got a good rainstorm last night, late in the evening and the early morning. Okay, I think that's shared out to everybody. Hi, I'm Dan Geist. This is Engelgeist. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Lisa Purcell-Wald. I forgot to do cards for you. I need to do that today at some point. I will. Good morning, Kristen Ravello. Good morning, Amber Sadler and Barbara Stevens and Ducky Simmons. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Anne. How are you? Good. You're with me on YouTube, so I know that YouTube is working. That's great. Hey, Kristen LeJay. How are you? So I am on early because I was trying to beat the construction, but I was unsuccessful. They started early today. So I'm going to try and be on early again tomorrow to beat them because it's just, I feel like it's more peaceful and I'm more relaxed when I don't have them hammering around in the background. But we might have some of that this morning, so we'll just deal with it. I hope you guys have had a good day. So far, thus far. I hope it's starting off to be a good day. So today, I do, for those of you, I mean, most of you know me. Good morning, Karen. So you all know why we're here. Good morning, Rhonda Chire. I do a daily card pull for the energy of the day just to kind of let us look at the collective as to what we might be dealing with for the energy for the day and how we might best, interact with it or what we might need to do to best interact with it to make it work for our own highest good. Good morning, Aunt Amanda Cooper-Myers and Nancy Jennings. I love it that you all tune in, you guys. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a deep breath and bring ourselves into present time, Thursday, July 11th. Think about the things we want in our lives. Think about how good those things feel. If there's things that we want in our lives that don't feel good or that cause us fear or anxiety, then maybe there's something about them that either A, we're not supposed to have, or B, maybe we're going about it the wrong way. Okay? That's just a thought that just popped into my head as I was taking that second deep breath. Let me shuffle the cards for today, for everyone, for Thursday, July 11th. Let's see the energy for Thursday, July 11th. So we're in that, one moment, I'm not going to talk, give me one moment. Okay, so this is what, I'm getting from the shuffle, is that if we relax and we don't think about it too much, things are going to be okay. There is a little bit of resistance, there is a little bit of opportunity to overthink things today, a little bit of opportunity to over-worry things today, and if we do that, we're going to find that we're going to have more of a struggle bus kind of day than we normally would, or than some of us will. Some of us will have an easier time of it, and some of us won't. And it's going to be because of overthinking, possibly over communicating, that sort of thing. We are in a retrograde with Mercury retrograde, and that always, is a little bit not off-putting, but it can set things into a little bit of a wonky phase, right? But if we don't let the wonkiness get in front of us or worry us or get underneath our skin and we freak out about it, we actually can move through it pretty well. I'm not having such a hard time with this Mercury retrograde. I've been feeling pretty good, but I'm also sort of, excuse me for yawning, I'm also sort of kind of not limiting my experience, but keeping my experience as sort of calm and relaxed as possible. With all the banging and everything that's going on outside my house and stuff, and how much energy that creates. My house actually is vibrating. There's and it's not due from my meditations. There's things that are going on that I'm having throughout the day to take deep breaths and just go, okay, Dan, there's a purpose to this. Be okay. So, I feel like that's some of what this energy is in the cards today for some of us, is that we are going to have to really be conscious about where we're thinking, how we're thinking, and what we're thinking about. So let's look at the card today. The card is the Man of Crystals. Speaking of thinkers, it's the Inventor card. Crystals, as you guys know, deals with the mind. The Inventor card is the Man of Crystals, which says that, we are very much up in our mind, thinking quite a bit. Let me scoot over so I'm not... It looks like some of us might be buried in our thoughts a little bit when I look at this card. It looks like there might be some resentment or some worry that's going on for some of us today. We might be sort of having a hard time getting through it. There is, when I look at these tall towers over here, it sort of feels like there is some sort of an option or some sort of a way out of it. And the card gives me hope because it is Inventor, which means there's all of these ideas and all of these possibilities, all of these avenues we can take. But it sort of feels like to me that we're overthinking them all, so much so that we're bogging ourselves down a little bit in our brains. And then we get sort of buried. If you see, there's a little face back in here, and this is the part that feels a little bit worried. Maybe for some of us it's a little bit resentful. Maybe for some of us it's a little bit fearful or even angry. So we might be having those feelings today. But the truth of the matter is like I said, with the shuffle, it felt like if we relax and we back off of our thoughts and not overthink things, we might have an easier time of dealing with today, and we don't want to get buried today. Yesterday we had that 10 of Crystals, which was delusion, and usually delusion tends necessarily, as a rule, kind of in Tarot, they kind of represent the end of a cycle. So I was sort of hoping that yesterday would be our opportunity to sort of maybe end that delusional thought stuff, because we had such powerful cards in the early week. We had the Star in the Universe leading into the week. But this Man of Crystals Inventor, it says to me that we might have to have one sort of, how do I want to say it, one more strong mental thought push that we have to invent a pathway out of. We have to invent a better way of thinking. We have to invent or become, how do I want to say this, we have to become crafty with how, hey Marita, we have to become, hey Kelly Casey, we have to become crafty with how we're thinking, and maybe invent new ways of thinking, new ways of looking at situations, new ways of interacting with situations, new ways of allowing situations to sit on our shoulders. Does that make sense? Because this feels like, when I look at this card, there's a lot sitting on this person's shoulders. This may only be for some of us, not all of us, but I think that, we all have the opportunity to get caught in our thoughts. And I feel like this is not caught in one's thoughts. I mean, yes, definitely there is some of that going on, but it is about inventing a way out of it, if we can. The only thing that makes me a little bit question is this face here makes me feel like some of us in our deeper mind or our deeper subconscious are in more fear, more anger, more resentment, more troubled than we maybe want to admit, or that we maybe want to deal with. So we're like maybe focusing on a bunch of other stuff all around, like kind of keeping ourselves busy, like, oh, well, what if I do this? Or what if I do that? Or what if I do this? And then we're like sort of burying ourselves underneath it. So let's not do that today, guys. We have these great cards leading us into the week. And remember, we have that midweek card, which was the Nine of Worlds, which was harvest, right? So I'm going to go back to that idea and that concept of everything that we're like, the seeds that we're sowing is what we're going to be reaping later. So if we're trapped under our own thoughts and like feeling weird, sort of, I don't want to call it negative, but because I don't believe that nothing is actually ever negative, it's all there to teach us. But if we're feeling like resentful, angry, fearful, whatever just doesn't feel good to us, right? If we're feeling those things, that Nine of Worlds card from Sunday is saying that, those are the seeds. If we're staying stuck there, we need to invent a way out of there. We need to find our way out of there. And we have the skills because this is the man of crystals. This is like the king of, what would it be? Not wands, but... would it be wands? No, King of Swords. This would be similar to like the King of Swords, right? This would be, clear, decisive thinking, trying to get ourselves out of it. This card, for me, doesn't necessarily feel that way. It feels like we need to find that clear, decisive thinking to get ourselves out from underneath all of the stuff that we got maybe going on in our brain, keeping us busy. Because of that, we want to be harvesting the seeds that are really clean, the seeds that are really positive, the seeds that are really for our highest good, the things that we really want in our lives, the things that feel good, not the things that we think we need to do, not the things that we think we should do, not the things that bring us anxiety or worry or fear or even, sometimes our minds use like, oh, we've got to stay safe, do the safe thing, Well, I don't suggest running out there and taking tons of risks, but if something feels good versus something feeling safe, I don't know. Yeah, that's for you guys to weigh out for yourselves, right? The other thing I do want to say too is at the end of the week card, which we are getting close to the end of the week, so this might be playing into some of this end of the week energy, was that Man of Wands, which was actor. And Wands is like, is similar to, it's the same as Wands in traditional tarot deck. And it's the Man of Wands. So it's definitely like moving us into this, what do I want to say, like more decisive male energy, getting in front of our issues mentally, dealing with them, facing them, inventing new ways to have them or clearing them out altogether, seeing what works for us, what doesn't, really like looking at the detritus and getting out from under it. This Man of Wands that is from Sunday, the Man of Wands actor card, we're moving into this sort of active male, assertive energy, right? With this card showing up today. So that's starting for some of us today on Thursday. The Man of Wands was the actor. And I think I said on Sunday that it was all about like, spiritually trying on what fits best for us, what we want for ourselves, what feels best spiritually, what seems right, what works right. Have you guys noticed there's been no hammering? Like, I think the universe is working with me so I can get this message out today. That's just my feeling. Watch the hammering starts right now. Anyways, so this is our opportunity to get our mind clear so that we can get to the end of the week and have the opportunity to then get our spirit clear on which way we're heading, which direction we're going, which doors we're closing. We've got this ending eclipse coming in on the 16th. This is the closing of the doors, guys. This is the opportunity to sort of put to bed what we don't want to have plague us anymore, what we don't want to repeat, or the mistakes we don't want to repeat anymore. This is the opportunity to kind of put those babies to bed and let them rest and like kind of not have to revisit them ever again. So use this time wisely. Even though it's a retrograde, it doesn't mean that we can't necessarily find our answers, right? And this is about finding our answers for ourselves mentally in our own mind, seeing how we train ourselves, treat ourselves, think our ways in and out of things, overthink our ways in and out of things. And like I said, with that shuffle, it felt like if we took a little bit of ease with ourselves, a little bit of care and compassion with ourselves, we can invent new ways out of sort of maybe feeling buried. Does that make sense in our own thoughts? All right. I hope I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope that makes sense. As I always say, it's all just energy. So all of it is